All right, so there are really only four reasons why your online fitness coaching business right now is not growing. Four reasons as to why you are currently stuck, more than likely under 10K months. And if you really want to break out and get to those upper levels, finally hit 10K, hit 20K, break through to six figures, multiple six figures, these are the four things that you need to be absolutely crystal clear on inside your business. All right. So I've been growing online fitness coaching businesses myself since 2016. And I will tell you that over the years, a lot of things have changed, but these four things have always been there. These have always been really the first principles. These are the actual like bare bone basics of what makes a business successful. And even though tactics, pop up and they come and they go and trends set in and then different, they go out of style and something else new takes its place. These are the four things that no matter what time of the year it is, no matter what the economy is doing, no matter if it's 5 years ago or today or 5 years from now, these are the four things that are absolutely essential. These are, again, the first principles. These are the foundations to growing a really good and successful, thriving business. And so we're going to walk through these one by one. I have several things we're going to talk through. But the first place that we need to start is we have to talk about the offer. All right. One of the biggest reasons that coaches are not getting clients right now is because they're not selling an offer that people actually want to purchase heading into 2026, right? They're selling offers that are overused, offers that are commoditized, offers that worked back in 2020, 2021, but they're not offers that actually meet the market where they're at today. And so what this looks like is there's a lot of coaches out there right now who are selling just very generic, basic 12-week programs that are pretty cookie cutter. They have macros and 24/7 check-ins. And it's really just an offer that nowadays, in the eyes of the market, is really just not valuable. And this was something that converted a lot back, in 2020, 2021. This was stuff that worked, right? This is stuff that even we were selling in our own online coaching businesses. But going into 2026, those types of offers are just not working. And so there's two things we have to talk about here when we're talking about the offer. All right. Again, this is through the lens of what are the four reasons. There are only four that are holding back you and your business. And maybe you have one of these that's off, and if it's just that piece and you fix it, your business will take a leap forward. But maybe you also have multiple of them. So the way that you tell if your offer is the thing that is broken, what we're really talking about here is what am I selling? And also what is it that I'm actually delivering? All right, so what am I selling and what am I actually delivering? So when it comes to the sales part, this is the piece that most coaches have wrong. All right, we can talk about delivery real quick. Most coaches are actually great coaches. All right, most coaches can get people results. Their program is good. And so like the actual delivery part is not necessarily the piece that is completely broken or wrong or the reason why they're not growing. One way that you can tell like if your delivery is broken is like, hey, if people are not even like making it through the initial, 12-week program or whatever, like if people are getting 30 days in and then just falling off, it's like, okay, you probably have, like if this is happening multiple times, it happens one or two times here or there, not a big deal. But if this is happening for like most people that come into your program, you probably have like an actual delivery issue. Your program isn't actually, the product itself is just like not good. And so that would be a place where you need to do some focus, right? Obviously, if people are not staying a part of the program, it's gonna be really hard to grow your business and to reach 10K, 20K months because you land a sale, but then people just leave, right? So that'd be number one. That'd be like the delivery side. But most coaches, the real problem with their offer is actually the selling part. What I mean by that is the offer they're trying to sell. So like when they explain to people what their program is and what they do and how it all works, it's not actually compelling or exciting or attractive, and it's not actually what people want. And that's the big issue that a lot of coaches are running into heading into 2026 is they're still selling old, outdated, commoditized offers that looks like, hey, it's a 12-week program with macros and 24/7 check-ins. And they're trying to sell an offer that is just old and outdated. It's like nobody really wants it anymore. That's what everybody is selling. So number one, there's like lots of competition in it. But also it's just like, put yourself in your ideal client's shoes. Like most people that are going to join up to a coaching program in 2026, they have already been a part of a coaching program before, or they've been on a sales call with a fitness coach. And so think about it like this. If, for instance, somebody has gone through a coaching program before, but now they're still hitting you up, inquiring about coaching, well, it means that the other program didn't work. Right? It means the other program didn't get them the results they wanted. Because if it did, they would either still be working with that coach, or if they're like, looking for another round of coaching, they would literally just go back to that coach. And so when you come into a sales call and you're like, hey, that thing that you purchased from the other coach, and you guys did like the 12-week program, the macros, and the 24/7 check-ins, and you remember how like you didn't get the kind of results you wanted? Awesome. So that's what we're just going to do it again, right? Like you're going to pay me $2,000 and we're just going to go right back in and do the exact same thing you did last time that didn't work. Now, maybe it didn't work because they didn't actually apply it or for whatever reason. A lot of times it maybe wasn't even the coach's fault. The person didn't get results, but people don't want to just repurchase something that didn't work for them before. So that's the real issue that lots of coaches are running into right now is they sound like everybody else. And sometimes it's not just about, I just sound like everybody else. It's like, no, you sound like the thing that failed people before, right? You sound like the solution they tried to do before that didn't work. And so that's just going to make it a struggle for you right out the gate. It's like, hey, it didn't work. Let's just redo it. And so number one is, if you're struggling to grow your business right now, we have to really take a look at the offer. Are you selling something that people actually want? And if you are, and you're actually signing clients up, well, are clients actually staying with you? Are clients getting good results? Are they continuing to be a part of the program? Do they want to stay? Do they want to pay? Do they want to refer? Because if the answer to that is no, well, then we just need to go in and we just need to actually level up the product, level up the offer itself, and just make this thing a lot better so that people actually adhere to it. And so there's multiple different ways to do that. But looking at things like client journeys and deliverables, and we just like onboarding, right? Onboarding is such a big place where a lot of coaches miss a lot of opportunities and don't get people started off on a good foot. And so number one is we have to actually take a look at the offer itself. Number two, then we have to actually look at the content. So typically, let me actually put a marker here. Typically, let me drag this out of the way. Typically, the offer itself is like kind of like 0 to maybe like roughly 3K months, right? Like if you can hit 3K months, it means you're selling something that people want. Right? Typically, it's like if you're hitting 3K months, it means you're selling an offer that people want. It's attractive. They're getting on a phone call with you and they're giving you money, right? And so if you're somewhere around like 3K months or above, or if you've like landed sales in the past, it could be possible that, your offer is actually good to go. Awesome. So then reason number two, why your business wouldn't be growing would actually be your brand. It would be your content, right? To land a client, like we need traffic, right? We need people. There actually has to be like leads being generated and people being talked to be able to actually get them signed up into the program, right? And so lots of coaches between really that like 3 to 7K mark, all right? Excuse the great drawing. I'm using a mouse here, right? I need to get a iPad with all the little fancy pen and all that. But typically between like 3 to 7K, coaches really get stuck. And a lot of times it's like what I end up finding is, actually, no, let me pull out the eraser. A lot of times what I end up finding is like they have an okay offer. It's like I'm gonna put like a little, it's like they have like an okay offer. It's not like a terrible offer, but the offer is definitely not like helping them a lot. But what the real issue is, it's actually their content. Their content is not getting them leads. Their content is not pre-selling people on the problems they can solve. It's not pre-selling people on who it is you are, what it is you do, how it is you can actually help them. And so a mixture of just like a kind of like just weak to mediocre offer mixed with content that's not actually pre-selling, that's not actually driving demand, it's not actually getting you traffic, it's not getting you leads. It leads to a lot of coaches just being stuck in this 3 to 7K range. And in this 3 to 7K range, what it typically looks like is you're just posting content every single day. You start to post multiple times per day. You're sending DMs. You maybe started out first sending 20 DMs. Now you're shooting for like 50 DMs. It's, some coaches even are shooting for like 100 daily DMs. And a lot of times this zone right here is where a lot of coaches get stuck. And again, it's a mixture of their offer is like not helping them a lot. It's just kind of like, okay, like if you get people in sales calls, they close. But a lot of times the issue is like you can't get sales calls to begin with, right? You're not booking in a consistent 3 to 5 sales calls every single week. And so a lot of times what this really is, it's just a traffic issue. There's just not enough people coming through your funnel. There's not enough people hitting your social media profile. There's not enough people that are actually seeing and engaging with your content. And when I say that, don't take me wrong. I'm not talking about like, hey, we need like 100,000 followers. I'm not saying that whatsoever. What I more so mean, in fact, like most coaches that I've helped hit 10K months were somewhere between like 1,500 to like 3,000, 5,000 followers, right? Like lots of the coaches I've helped have not been these big, massive like influencers or anything like that. In fact, I've never really even worked with an influencer that had, 200, 300,000 followers, because a lot of times those coaches I actually kind of try to avoid because their fitness following is typically just not very good. It's not actually very conducive for actually building a business. And what I've found is that it's these micro accounts, these like niche accounts who have built these followings around like a very specific problem, have become known. Like for instance, I've helped a CrossFit nutritionist who just became known as the dude in the CrossFit space who helps people get jacked, get abs, get shredded, like he absolutely crushed. It's like a very, very like niche little thing. And I've also helped like a powerlifter. I had a powerlifter that blew through 10K months. And again, same thing, just like building like a very niche, like strength training audience. Like these are typically the coaches that I see hit 10K months, 20K months, the easiest. All right. And so again, a big reason why a lot of coaches don't grow to $10,000 and $20,000 months is because the content, their brand is just like not literally getting enough views, not getting enough exposure, which is just making like everything else more difficult. Now, the third problem that comes up a lot of times for a coach is their actual sales process, right? So like their actual funnel. It's like, we can be creating really good content. We can have a perfect program. Like you can be the best coach in the world. You can have all the certifications, the perfect program. You can be like super clear on exactly like what content to be posting and all this type of stuff. But if you don't actually have like a sales process, if you don't actually have like an intentional way of getting people lined up for sales calls or getting them into some sort of like intention, sales driven based conversation, then you're just not going to get clients. And lots of coaches actually get stuck in this zone where it's just kind of like, it's referred to like broadly as just like posting and praying, right? You've probably heard this before. You probably see ads on the timeline like every single day being like, oh, like you're posting and praying. But this is like a real issue, right? It's like just like posting and hoping that things work out. And it's because there's no real just like ironed out process for, I've got a really great offer. I'm driving attention and traffic with the right content that's pre-selling, it's attracting, it's pulling people in. And then, from there, it's like, cool, they go through this process, and this process actually, exposes them to my offer and shows them like how I can help, and either, closes them there in the DMs or books them in for a sales call. And then on that sales call, we go through the sales presentation and all that type of stuff. We're talking about things like video sales letters, your DM scripts, your sales presentations, like the actual process of taking the lead and turning them into a client. Now, the thing that The last thing that I want to say here on the process piece, the thing about the offer and the thing about your process is these are typically things that are kind of like one and done, right? It's something that it's like you build it out and you get it right. And then like once it's right, like you're probably not gonna have to change it for like probably the next 12 to 18 months possibly, right? Like once you get an offer that's like ripping, you just like don't want to change it. In fact, like a lot of coaches, they'll find something that's working. And the reason why, they'll start to get a little bit of success and then they'll fall off. And the reason is because, they just get bored of just like doing the same old thing that they did before. And so then they go back to the drawing board, they tear it all down, they try to like restart. And then the new thing that they put out like actually doesn't work. So what you really want to do is you want to build a boring business. You want to build a very disciplined, consistent, routine driven business where it's like, hey, this is the stuff that works. This is how I do it. These are my daily actions, and like everything's just kind of clicking right along. That's the most ideal state where you really want your business to be. It's kind of like training, right? Good training kind of feels repetitive. It kind of feels boring. You kind of just like get into your disciplines and your routines because you know that over, a 90-day period, you're going to make a pretty good transformation. Over 6 months, over 12 months, you're going to make a lot of progress. And you're going to hit PRs and you're going to like see the type of results that you want. Well, that's the way that you want your business to be built, right? And so the offer and the actual like processes and like the sales systems, a lot of times, again, this is just kind of like you build it, and then you're good to go. And so the real, like if I was like to rank these in order, I would say that this right here is probably like the problem number one. All right. Problem number one is traffic for most online fitness coaches. They've got a good program. The offer's okay, but like that's something we can fix literally in like 1 or 2 workshops. The offer's like pretty simple to fix. And then, like with a month or 2 of like just building stuff out, you can get your sales processes and stuff in place. Like that doesn't have to be very complicated. It does take a little bit of time. You got to shoot some stuff. Like within a month or 2, you can have that stuff squared away. And then it's really just comes down to like day-to-day content. A lot of coaches, again, they're just not posting the right content. It's not content that's actually helping them. It's not actually getting traffic. It's not actually getting them leads. It's not actually pre-selling anybody. And so this right here, actually like branding and content, that's why my business is called Content and Clients, because this right here is like the real issue for most coaches. It's just their social media presence. Now, the fourth thing, however, all right, this is like the big 3 pillars of your business. But there is a fourth reason as to why a lot of coaches end up struggling to grow their business. It's why things fall stagnant. It's why things are up and they're down. And that reason is time. All right. That reason is time. And where time begins to show up in your business and how time will actually hold you back is a lot of times a coach will just be like unclear, or they won't have ironed out SOPs and playbooks and processes and systems for actually running their day-to-day business activities, right? They won't actually have like standardized operating procedures. And so what ends up happening is, like all of this stuff, like from your sales to your marketing to your client delivery, all of this stuff, like it just requires a certain amount of time. Like you just can't escape that. Like there's just certain inputs that are absolutely like have to be done every single day, and it has to be done consistently. Now, what I'm not talking about is like, hey, you're gonna have to work like 18 hours a day or anything like that. But it's kind of like, it's like, let's take fitness for instance. It's kind of just like, well, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Like if you don't eat your protein, and you don't like actually go to the gym, well, like, dude, you're just not going to make progress. Like there's no way around that one. And as much as you can like wish or hope that you could just like skip going to the gym and you make much progress, or you could just like not actually be disciplined with your diet and somehow you're going to lose weight. Like as much as we can sit here and wish that was reality, like it's just not, right? There's just like some stuff that it's just like, if you want results, you got to do this stuff, right? And so a lot of times where time comes into play is a coach is either being very inefficient with their time. There's certain tasks that are just taking up way too much time, which means then that other things just don't get done in the business. Typically that's like really what it is. It's like a lack of systems. So then there's things that are taking 6 hours a day that really should only take like 2 hours a day. It's just like a lack of awareness around like what is actually happening in the day-to-day of my business. And so then a coach just runs out of time. And so again, ironing out daily actions, SOPs, processes, just like actually getting clear on what needs to be getting done in the business is so, so important. And these are really the only 4 reasons why a coaching business does not grow. If you were stuck specifically under those 10 to 20K months, these are the 4 reasons. These are really like when I think about the couple hundred coaches that I've helped at this point, like over 200 people in a one-to-one setting where I'm like directly working with them. These are the 4 big problems that come up like 95% of the time, right? Sometimes like some of the other problems, maybe like personal issues that come up, life issues that come up, but like that's more like personal issues, not necessarily like business issues, right? Like when it comes to the actual business, these are really the 4 big things that keep a business from growing and scaling. And so what I'm going to show you is how I actually fix these problems. So the way that I actually fix these problems inside of Content and Clients is, number one, you need daily leads. If we don't have some sort of lead engine, that was really bad drawing. If we don't have some sort of lead engine, if there is not daily lead generation happening, it is going to be really hard to actually grow your business, right? There has to be people. And again, I'm not talking about there has to be 100,000 people. But if every single day, you're not getting 5 to 15 new leads, it's going to be really hard to actually hit $10,000 to $20,000 months. Like we have to have new leads coming in. And so several different ways we can do this. Number one, you can run really simple Ads. Now, ads is not like, things like follower ads. I'm sure we've all heard of follower ads at this point. Now, this is not necessarily like a really beginner-friendly strategy. And so sometimes we have to reach to more like organic strategies, things like sending friend requests or things like going out and finding the ideal client and following them. Or number three is literally just creating the right content, creating content that actually builds your audience, creating content that is gaining you attention and traffic and new followers. The point being, though, is like those are really some of the only three options. It's like you have paid traffic, you have organic content, or you have like manual effort that you can put in. But the overarching point is like you have to have pretty much 5 to 15 leads every single day. And without that happening, again, it's just going to be really hard to actually grow your business. There has to be leads coming into the business. Now, the thing is we're not just looking for followers for the sake of getting followers. That's why a lot of times these influencers with these big accounts, it's why they really struggle. And it's why, if you're trying to post like viral content, a lot of times it actually ends up hurting your business more than it actually helps, because what ends up happening is we're trying to get leads who actually would align with our unique philosophy. Right? I talked about earlier, I was like, the coaches that I've seen that I've helped hit 10K months, the fastest, the simplest, these were the coaches that had like really niche audiences. It was like the power lifter. It was the CrossFit nutritionist. It was the faith and fitness, like the actual pastor who was building a fitness business. What we're looking for is not just leads for the sake of getting leads. We're looking for leads who would actually align with our unique philosophy and who it is we are and what it is we believe, and leads that would actually be a potential fit for the program. You don't need thousands and thousands and thousands of leads. If you can just get 5 to 15 highly qualified leads every single day, like your business is going to be a really good spot to hit 10 to 20K months. Because then if we're bringing in the right people that are actually a good fit for our philosophy and our worldview and the stuff that we're doing, well, the next piece then is it comes down to our offer, right? Again, we talked about the offer. The reason a lot of coaches are just struggling is because they're not selling something that people want. And so we have to actually sell the right offer to the right people. So a lot of times, where a lot of coaches will go, where they'll struggle is like they have a misalignment, where what they're trying to sell and the audience that they've built don't line up and they don't match. And so all this stuff has to be in alignment, right? All of this stuff, it's like one thing builds off the other. For instance, like, if you are trying to sell fitness coaching to like busy moms, for instance, like it's really generic, right? Like you're trying to sell to like busy moms, but you just have like a bunch of men that follow you. It's like, okay, well, probably not going to be a good fit, probably not going to convert very many people, probably not going to get a lot of clients, right? And so we have to really think about who are we actually trying to attract and what are we actually trying to sell them. So if you have the right offer, again, we're getting leads, but it needs to be leads that are right for the, a good fit for our actual offer and making sure that our offer is lined up. Then with the legacy offer, from there, we start to focus in on content. So because we understand who's coming into our world, because we understand what program we're actually trying to sell them, our content and our brands and the way we actually get leads and traction and eyeballs is we post content for that specific person, right? We're not worried about going viral. We're not worried about needing hundreds and thousands of likes and engagement and followers every single day. That's not the goal at all. We want the right people that are a good fit for the program, and we create content for that person and that person only. Which leads us then to the social funnel. The social funnel is how we are taking leads. We are pre-selling them with our content, people that are a good fit for the offer, and using the social funnel, just using our social media. We're not using any sort of like ClickFunnels or websites or any sort of like big complex like paid ad strategies or anything like that. We're just using our organic social media, where we are actually taking people through the process of going from cold to sold, taking them from just a casual viewer to being a warm lead to being a hot lead, getting them booked in for a sales call, and then converting them into a client. And so this is what I call the industry leader way. All right. And the industry leader way, again, it's built on these big 4 problems as to why fitness coaches are struggling to grow their business. They're struggling because their offer's not converting, right? What you're selling and what they're delivering is just like not a good match for the market. We're taking content seriously. We're focusing on what should I be posting? What's the brand? What am I trying to represent? Making sure that we're putting out the right content that speaks to the right people, that pre-sells them on this actual offer that we're trying to actually close them into, right? We're focusing on daily actions. We're building out the correct systems and the processes and SOPs so that every single day when we show up to our business, we know exactly what to do. We know how to do it. It's just like fitness, where you're able to just plug in. So it's like a fitness routine. You know exactly what to do. You know exactly how to do it. You know exactly how much volume you need to do. So at the end of the day, you can go to bed and you can sleep at night feeling confident and clear on your business and saying, hey, like I did everything I could today to actually grow my business. I did everything I could today. I did enough things today to be able to go to bed tonight and feel like, hey, I'm setting my family up for success, that I didn't leave anything on the table, that I checked the boxes and I crushed it today. And then ultimately, that kind of leads over into it's just like making sure time is just being spent in the right places. There's so many different things that every single day when you wake up, you can focus on, but there's only a few things that actually move your business forward. And so it's not always about doing more. A lot of times in business, it's about getting really clear on what things actually move the needle forward. And it's doing less overall stuff, but it's doing those few things that actually move the needle forward, doing those few things much better, and increasing our level of skill, increasing the level of intentionality, and just making sure that the right boxes are getting checked, and then just ignoring everything else. And so this is the 4 reasons. All right. This is the 4 reasons. Like I said, I've helped so many coaches at this point. And this is the big 4 things that just keep coming up over and over and over and over. And this is the reason why coaches struggle to grow the business. This is the reason right now, if your business is not growing the way you would like, it comes down to it is one of these 4 reasons. Either the offer you have is not converting, what you're selling and what you're delivering in some sort of way is just not working. It's not converting people, or it's not keeping people engaged and keeping them in the program, or your content is just not actually bringing you any sort of leads, not actually getting exposure, it's not actually pre-selling anyone or helping you, or your systems and your processes and your funnel is just completely off, which is leading to just time being spent in all the wrong places and all the wrong ways, and ultimately just getting to the end of the day, getting to the end of the week, getting to the end of the month, and just not getting the type of results that you want. But if you can fix these 4 things, sometimes it's just one of these that's off for a coach. Sometimes just fixing one of these makes the business just explode. Sometimes though, there's multiple of them. There's 2 or 3 of these things that are off. It doesn't really matter what's wrong. The only thing that matters is that the problem gets fixed. And so these are the big 4 problems. Hopefully it's helpful. Hopefully this gives you kind of a framework and maybe like a worldview to view this through, because I really hope that you are able to solve your problems going into 2026, and that next year can be a really big year for you. So many coaches don't realize, with the right offer and the right setup and the right pricing models, you can reach 6 figures next year only really working with 17 long-term clients. And so with the right offers and the right models and the right content, and if you just get everything set up correctly, you don't need to land 200, 300 clients next year to reach the levels that you want to. You just need 1, 2, maybe 3 clients every single week joining up to your program to experience the type of success you want. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. By the way, if some of this stuff is clicking with you and you're like, wow, this is actually feels like this is like it for me. This is the thing, this is what I'm struggling with, and I can just figure these things out. If you would like to chat with me and see if what we're doing over here could be possibly a good fit for you, I'd love to chat. Go ahead and reach out to me. You can reach out on Instagram or Facebook. My Instagram is, I believe, @TellFisher. That's my actual name, by the way, so you can also look up just Tell Fisher on Facebook. Find me on one of the platforms you're on. Totally cool. I believe down in the description of this video, there is a link as well to one of my social profiles. So get in contact with me, reach out. Would love to chat with you and learn more about what you got going on, if I might be able to help you get to 10 to 20K months next year. So that one being said, hopefully this was useful and helpful. See you in the next one. Peace.